How's it going, guys? Welcome to Truth and Transparency. Glad you guys could be here. Lots to talk about. Thank you guys for the new memberships. Again, one of the perks that you get for being a member of Truth and Transparency is I do lives that are sometimes only members only. Also, a chance that I might do lives that are public, but only members can chat. And the reason I do that is for me to actually be able to get to questions that you guys may have had in previous lives or in comment sections under the video. I do appreciate all of your guys' comments. It's okay if we have a difference of opinions. It's also okay if, hey, I caught that you misspoke, Lana. You said this date instead of that date. I want to hear all those type of things. I'm human, so I am going to make mistakes, no doubt about it. But the thing that's great about America is that, you have a right to, your opinion, and you can voice that opinion. So we can always have difference of opinions. It's how we go about it. So again, welcome to Truth and Transparency. I'm going to hop into the intro today. Is about 13 minutes long. But first, again, hello to all the new members. I see some of you guys have gotten new memberships. Thank you guys for that. Morgan, Pisces, again, my mods, love you guys. New member there. Halo, oh gosh, that'll scare you. That keeps me on my toes. Don't worry, that was just Netflix. But that scares some of you guys. I'm supporting my my Cleveland hat, even though we just can't win a damn game. But Jeremiah, hopefully your health, praying for you. Mama Fee, always so kind. Thank you. Nikki, again, awesome. Glad you could be here. Boston, again, one of my mods. Love you. Thank you. Dolly. Maddie's World. This is a new member. Welcome. Again, Kelly O. Echo, new member. Ashley, how are you, love? I can't believe it. When did I say hi to my Pisces, fellow Pisces there? Rarity, good to see you, love. What's up, Dave? How are you? Nicole, welcome. Again, all of you guys, thank you guys so much. Chris, Tiger. Boom, boom, boom. Again, just want to be saying hi to you guys. Your membership means a lot. It also helps do the stuff that Fight for Family does, which is put a lot of time, research, in the process of doing all that we can for Sheldon Jeter Jr. in Pennsylvania. So Fight for a Family is a nonprofit that I started in March of 2021. So it's www.fightforafamily.com. So with no more hellos, again, I want to say hello to everybody. But we're going to get this thing pumping. Dolly, thank you so much for the super chat, super sticker there. Let's see. Again, this live is all about answering your guys' questions. So let's see. Do you guys have any questions from yesterday? I know that it was a lot to take in. With that being said, yesterday's live was basically to show that this house and who was portrayed to be living there and when they were living there, it wasn't what I believe the public was told. These, all of them combined, had only been living in this house for a very, very short period of time. So that would have narrowed down a window for, whoever would have done this, if it was one person, if it was multiple people, to know where people are as far as their bedrooms are, things like that. You're narrowing down now based on when these people actually live together, and to a very, to a way smaller time frame. Especially the people that would have thought that Kaylee lived there and Maddie lived there as juniors. That's not the case. So as far as one sorority being more, better than the other, that to me wasn't the point. The point is to show that they were in two separate sororities, and therefore your time is devoted, and you're going to have to be spending more time with your sororities if you are in fact active. Things like that. And then who would these people in this house come across? And just because I'm friends with somebody doesn't mean that one of my roommates even knows who the person is, or just because I know somebody doesn't mean they know somebody. So I think when it gets complex, it's all the moving parts, all the different people. And I think this preview right here is going to break it down even more so with this preview in terms of an investigation and where we would be if this wasn't complex. There'd be an arrest, in my opinion. Even if it was planned, a lot of moving parts. So let's check out this this video. Here we go. Again, welcome all the members in chat. The only way that you are able to chat in live feed, you can watch it. Everybody can watch it, but the only way that you're able to chat is through the membership. So sometimes I do subscriber mode only. This is a members only live chat, but it's open to the public to watch. And so I want everybody to see it. But here we go.
There should be no law against killing people. I know it's a wrong thing, but hell, you restrict somebody from it, they're gonna want it more.
Sad as it may be, she's our friend. But you know what? We all have to make sacrifices. Our first victim is going to be Cassie Stoddart. She's going to be alone in a big, dark house out in the middle of nowhere. How perfect can you get? I mean, like, holy shit, dude.
I'm horny just thinking about it.
Hell yeah.
Cassie was murdered by her friends with a knife and a dagger in the home she was house sitting in. Again, this is a 2006 case out of Idaho.
It was 9:50, September 22nd, 2006. We know there's lots of doors. There's lots of places to hide. I locked the back doors, so it's all locked. Now we're just gonna wait.
Cassie was not found until 2 days after she was stabbed to death.
I just killed Cassie. We just left her house. This is not a fucking joke.
I'm shaking.
I stabbed her in the throat and I saw her lifeless body just disappear. Dude, I just killed Cassie. Oh, fuck. That felt like...
On the night of September 22nd, 2006, Cassie Stoddart was house sitting for her aunt and uncle, Allison and Frank Contreras, on Whispering Cliffs Drive in northeast Bangkok County. The Contreras family was out of town and hired Cassie to come take care of their 3 cats and 2 dogs for the weekend. Cassie was visited that evening, September 22nd, 2006, by her boyfriend, Matt Beckham, who arrived around 6 p.m. Later, classmates Brian Draper and Tori Admick were both at the age of 16 at the time, came over to the house to hang out. All were juniors at the same school. Cassie gave the friends a tour of the house, including the basement. The 4 teens went into the living room to watch the film Kill Bill Volume 2. But 2 out of the 3 boys decided that they were going to leave, and that would be Brian and Tori, and actually go see a movie at the cinema. They said that they wanted to watch a movie at their local movie theater instead. Her boyfriend stayed behind. Cassie was unaware that before the boys left, Brian Draper had unlocked the basement door so that he and Tori could re-enter the house undetected. Sometime after leaving the house on Whispering Cliffs, Brian and Tori returned to the neighborhood, parked down the street, got out of their vehicle, and put on costumes consisting of dark clothing, gloves, and white painted masks. The boys quietly entered the house through the basement door while the couple was still watching television in the living room. They intentionally made loud noises in an unsuccessful attempt to lure both Cassie and her boyfriend downstairs so they could, quote-unquote, scare them. Next, they found the circuit breaker and turned off the power in the house, hoping that the pair would then try to come down the stairs to check the breaker. When both Cassie nor her boyfriend did not come downstairs, the boys turned some of the lights back on. Cassie became uneasy after the temporary power outage, and her boyfriend noticed that one of the Contreras' dogs kept staring down the basement stairs, periodically barking or growling. Seeing that Cassie felt scared, her boyfriend called his mother to ask if he could stay the night at the house with her to ease her mind. But his mom denied his request. Instead, she offered to let Cassie come home with her boyfriend and stay at their house for the night, and she would bring Cassie back to the Whispering Cliffs house the next morning. However, Cassie felt it was her responsibility to stay at the house, as she was hired to do and care for the animals, and declined the offer from her boyfriend's mother. At approximately 10:30 p.m., her boyfriend's mother picked him up, leaving Cassie at the house all alone. Her boyfriend called Tori's cell phone to see where he and Brian were, possibly wanting to meet up later. Cassie's boyfriend said he could barely hear Tori and Brian because they were whispering on the phone, and he just assumed that the boys were in a movie theater. From the basement, the 2 boys heard Cassie's boyfriend leave. The teens turned the lights out again at the circuit breaker and waited, hoping Cassie would come downstairs to turn the lights back on, but she did not. Eventually, the boys went upstairs. Brian was armed with a dagger-type weapon, and Tori had a hunting knife, the weapons having been purchased at a pawn shop. One of the boys opened and slammed a closet door at the top of the stairs to scare Cassie, who was laying on the couch in the living room. The boys then brutally attacked her, stabbing her approximately 30 times. 12 of those wounds were potentially fatal. During the investigation of the murder, police found that the 2 boys had recorded their plan to murder Cassie in advance on a videotape recorder while they were at school. This video footage was shown at their trials. Therefore, they were arrested. Both of these 2 boys were arrested on September 27th, 2006, and they were charged with first-degree murder and conspiring to commit first-degree murder. During the interrogations, each teen blamed the other. Brian claimed he was in the same room with Tori when Cassie was killed, but denied stabbing her. Then later admitted to stabbing her because he alleged that he was taking commands from Tori. He led investigators to Black Rock Canyon, where the teens had disposed of the clothing, masks, and weapons that they used for the murder. At trial, the prosecution revealed that Brian had said he was inspired by Eric Harris, who committed the Columbine High School massacre. Later, Brian was said to have been inspired by the Scream horror film franchise. Brian was convicted on April 17, 2007. Tori was convicted on June 8, 2007. On August 21, 2007, based on being convicted of first-degree murder, each received a mandatory sentence of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, and 30 years to life for being convicted of conspiring to commit murder. Brian and Tori are both serving their time at Idaho State Correctional Institution, located in Ida County, Idaho, or Ada. In November of 2019, Tori's sentence was upheld after his appeal was denied by the Idaho Supreme Court. Again, Cassie was murdered on September 22nd. Her body was found on September 24th when her aunt and uncle and cousin came home to a gruesome scene. Cassie was there for 2 days. The arrests were on September 27th, 3 days after her body was found. The reason I'm bringing this up is because the Idaho 4 case has yet to see any persons of interest named by law enforcement, no suspects, no arrests. And this is to compare that in 2006, Cassie's murder was planned out by 2 high school juniors, the same age as herself, and they were quickly interrogated and arrested. And the main component to their arrest was the fact that when they were interrogated, neither one of them could tell authorities what the movie was about that they saw for part of their alibi. Here we are, 2022, 4 lives stabbed, taken, no arrests. So how complex is this case in terms of how planned out it was that nobody at this point would be interviewed, interrogated, and then based on those answers, arrested? Again, welcome to Truth and Transparency. This is a live broadcast. Please be kind and chat. The University of Idaho, Moscow, Idaho, December 27, 2022. This is my official recap and new body cam footage from September 2nd, 2022, when the police arrived back at the 112 King Road residence at 12:36 a.m. This would have been after the September 1st, 2022, 8:34 p.m. noise complaint. Again, those of you guys that are joining us for the first time, feel free to use the live chat feature as long as your opinions, comments, are respectful to those in chat. All statements within the live broadcast are the statements of my opinions based on my investigation. Everything is alleged, and nobody is guilty until proven so within the courts. Again, welcome to Truth and Transparency. All right, guys, welcome back. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that case. Did want to talk about it because I wanted to show basically the, obviously this was 2 16-year-olds, 2 juniors in high school. It was like a thrill kill. But if you heard one of them, and I wanted to make sure I got that on record, it was when they said, quote unquote, I'm getting horny just thinking about it. Yeah, something like this does get people, quote unquote, off. And to hear that actually being said about this brutal murder of Cassie prior to it being recorded and hearing this person say it, um, it was mind blowing, to say the very least. But it kind of goes with the conversation that I had with Scott Roeder, and other people throughout the feeds that I've ever had that has to do with this case, is that just because there's no sexual assault does not mean that there wasn't a sexual aspect to the crime in the way that a deviant mind would operate. So I did want to say that. I want to say thank you to Lisa for that super chat. Thank you very much. And there was one that was up there earlier, so thank you as well. You know, the police have said that they've conducted numerous interviews. My questions would be like, are those interviews over the phone? Are those interviews in person? Remember, everybody left campus. It was Thanksgiving break, and then it became, now it's winter break for Christmas, the holiday season. So it when they say that they're interviewing people, I believe that they are interviewing people. And when you compare this case to interviewing people, you're interviewing people now. These kids recorded stuff. They were arrested right away, pretty much. One of them was interviewed on the 26th. The other one was interviewed on the 27th. They were both arrested on the 27th of September. The crime happened on the 22nd of September. Cassie was found on the 24th. And so when you see that, and I'm sure that the Idaho State Police were involved. They're involved in this case. There has been no arrest, no law enforcement saying anything about a person of interest or possible multiple people. What does that tell us? I mean, in 2006, social media was there. Digital footprints were there. And now here we are in 2022, and we're even more, advanced. So what does that pretty much tell us? Again, welcome to the new members. Thank you so much there. Latina there, thank you so much. I think everybody's hoping that there'll be an arrest soon. I think when you think that there isn't one quickly, everyone thinks, they can't have anything. The cops don't have anything, this, that, and the other. There were 4 people, guys, 4 different lives. But to say the home's targeted or a person's targeted, you got everybody's timeline where they were. I think yesterday even proved more so of like, okay, you interview the family. You guys, I'm guilty of it. I think a lot of people would be guilty of this. We don't tell our parents everything, especially in college. So when you interview the parents and you ask them, has, your daughter or your son been bothered by anybody? No, they didn't tell me anything, So you're getting your parents being interviewed from the 4 victims, and then you get the students, and then you're hearing things that are clashing up with. That doesn't mean someone's lying. That just means they didn't tell me. They didn't tell me that. So interviewing everybody, getting the surveillance. Obviously, today was a big day for people talking about the surveillance from the corner club. My first question with the corner club is, was the family made aware of that? Was the family made aware of that? Because, and when were they made aware of it? The reason I'm going to say this is because I do believe that that is Jack D. I do believe that we can see Jackass, okay? And if we know that they are at the grub truck at 140, 141, 142, right around there, in order to make that walk from the corner club down to the truck, how many minutes does it take? So that picture that is going around, I do believe, is close to the near exit of Maddie and Kaylee. Well, then I beg the question of Jack D said he was sleeping, right? He didn't answer the phone because he was sleeping. This is according to her sister. Well, I don't know. That's pretty quick to be sleeping. You think that you have to leave. Those phone calls started how many minutes after? It's a pretty quick time to be sleeping. I don't know if they say that the devil works hard. Everyone's wrong. You work harder. Just wanted to say thank you. Oh, thank you. I was trying to read that through the picture there. But I like to go with I'm a data person, I'm a numbers person, I'm a logical person. And that video tells me a couple different things. The girls are standing up. Jack D sitting down. And then Jack S is off to the side a little bit, standing up. They're the ones that are getting ready to leave. I don't know if they were asked to leave because if anybody was intoxicated. I owned a bar. I've bartended. And towards the end of the night, the last thing I want to deal with is, I'm not going to deal with it, so I'm going to ask people to leave. Don't know if that happened, but based on the amount of time that it would have taken to walk that half of a mile, those girls would have been on their way out. Why did they walk there? Why didn't somebody drive them? Why did Jack S go? I don't have the answers. I wasn't there. But the more and more that I see things being revealed, whether or not it's by accident or by, on purpose, I'm just curious when the family got that. Because if I'm a family member and somebody tells me, I didn't answer because I was sleeping. Well, I'd say, what do you mean you were sleeping? You're up and you're at the bar at this hour. You just went home. Did you take like a Tylenol PM? So again, I'm only going off of what was said by the sister on national television. And you got to do the math on how long it would take then. What time did they leave? What time did the bar close? What's the latest that they could have left? Meaning Jack, because he was still in that bar when they left, in my opinion. He's sitting down, they're standing up, they're getting ready to leave. Maybe he asked, maybe Maddie said, hey, can you give us a ride? He's like, I'm not leaving yet. And then, Kaylee just said, like, let's just go or whatever. However that happened, we do know that the girls left and they were with Jack S walking. Okay. You guys like how I said Tylenol PM? Okay. I knew all Sane would like that. He's totally a Tylenol PM popper. I can just see you. But the point being is that if you look all the way to the right of that picture, you're going to see somebody else that I do believe has been identified. But if I'm the family and I would have gotten that early on and I would have seen this person, Jack D, And it looks like Kaylee is standing a little further back than Maddie. But again, engaged in conversation. Jack D, what time did you leave? You got the footage of so that they know when he left. You know what I'm saying? So law enforcement knows when he left. Law enforcement knows where the girls were because they had the grub truck video. Now, did they give this information to the families? I don't know. But all I can tell you is that I would have a hard time believing that it was because you were sleeping. Now, what I could believe is, you guys, I just didn't want to deal with it. I just didn't answer because like they were like, we had gotten into it maybe at the bar, or not that maybe they didn't get into it, but it was just like, dude, they were intoxicated and just, going on and on and on. So I ignored it because I thought it was just like the same thing, you guys know what it's like when that friend that called you when they've been drinking. And so could I see somebody saying that? That to me makes more sense than I didn't answer because I was sleeping. Okay. Well, you were sleeping in an hour of still being in that bar because we don't have the footage of when they left, meaning Jack D. Who did Jack D leave with? Is he seen? Again, you have the surveillance there. I've been waiting for this to surface. And I could just believe more so of like, I just didn't answer because I didn't want to deal with, girls being girls, like that type of thing. RK says, I'm not surprised that Jack D was at the corner club. I wonder if Jack S knew or felt that something was going to happen, allegedly, and was perhaps with them to prevent it. Adam is a very big dude, I think that said. I'm going to tell you what I think the whole Jack S thing is now. Law enforcement came out really quickly and said the guy in the white hoodie basically has nothing to do with this. I believe that the guy in the white hoodie now is a very big witness for what will eventually be the prosecution. I think hoodie guy is going to be a very, very big part of the prosecution in this case. So this would explain to me that he knew things, he told them things. And he has been off the radar because of the things that he may know. Now, again, what you're dealing with here is you want to build the most soundproof case so that you can have a successful prosecution, whether it's one person or whether it's 2, 3, 4. At the end of the day, you want to be successful. The thing that I think maybe just Moscow dropped the ball with is communicating with the families. Because, Kaylee's family went to the media. Nobody wants to go to the media. So that's what I am leaning towards in terms of if the girls were asked to leave or they decided that they were leaving and they were saying their goodbyes. Either way, hey, well, we're leaving, however that went down, somewhere along the line, Jack S is there and was walking, with them. He would be privy to the conversation, okay, that happened on that walk. He would be privy to what happened in Corner Club. And then what the plan was in terms of, well, they got into a car. Whose car did they get in? Did you see anybody else? What color was the car? So now let's start thinking about this, guys. What if the car that they're looking for was given up by someone like Jack S? What kind of car do they get into? Because maybe the people that picked them up stayed at their house for a little bit and didn't leave right away, you know? And then they left when they left, which was later on. So again, there's just lots of moving parts because there's multiple people. My question would be, when did the family know about the video in the corner club? So Robin says, yesterday's video was very important. Thank you, Lana. You're welcome. Mike drop in. Thank you for being here, modding. Oh, Mod Squad, I'm so sorry. I think I clicked on the wrong one there. Echo said, Jack S. maybe was asked by the girls for protection due to vibe at Corner Club. I think the interaction there at Corner Club and like nobody talking to each other, I think that can go multiple ways. But when you break it all down from top to bottom, and knowing everybody that was in there, my question would be is, if I was an investigator on this case, I would say, how did it end up that you were walking with the girls? Where was your car parked? How did you get to the Corner Club? What time did you arrive? What was your purpose for going there? Who were you meeting? Who did you arrive with? Who did you leave with? Because I would want to ask all these. Even if I know the answers, you still have to ask them to see what they're going to say, what they're going to try to lie about. Was the plan for the girls and you is when they were walking, did you say to them, hey, I'll give you guys a ride home because Jack D didn't? And you were like, hey, I'll give you guys a ride home. My car's down past where the grub stop is. And you guys were talking about getting food. So yeah, I walked them. They were supposed to get in my car. Then they end up calling somebody. And then next thing I know, they're walking off and getting in a vehicle. And I was like, what the fuck? And I then left. But I just simply said that I would give them a ride home because somebody else wouldn't. So that's kind of like, leave the pizza on the doorstep and get the hell out of here. Yeah, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Let's see. What's up, Morgan? Morgan says, I keep hearing about a bloke called Hunter and possibly a thing with Kaylee. That's why I want to know who Jack S was friends with. Hunter is either Ethan's brother or he has a friend called Hunter. Yeah. Let's see. Kelly, it is definitely understandable that he may have just, sorry, I'm trying to read these things, that he may have just didn't want to answer the phone. But what I don't understand is why he didn't just say that. Absolutely. Also, maybe that was his family or her family kind of covering for him, because we don't want the media and stuff to like go at you and be like, so they were just like, he has nothing to do with this. He has nothing to do with this. Dude, doesn't DoorDash get it? I agree with this. I think he did. I think that it was like the family, because remember, like, it wasn't like his words, it was the family's words. Thank you for that super sticker there. Where is it? Still. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Thank you, Lana. Everything makes sense now. The fact that they said Adam was cooperating, hence him to being involved or knowing something so senseless and so cruel. Yeah, very senseless, very cruel. I think I think my biggest question would be is if the family was given all this information and they had it all, I just don't see them going to the media. So I'm just curious, maybe just Idaho, Moscow was not prepared with the PR part of it and how you have to, if you really keep good lines of communication with the families, um, that's what you want to kind of keep intact. And maybe somehow that, fell through the cracks. But I think that, you know, everybody has a different way of grieving. Everybody has a different way of doing a lot of things. And nobody can ever say what they would do or what they wouldn't do in a situation like this. But I do believe that the family went to the media for a reason. And I think that that's going to come out. I do. What else do you guys have? I think talking about that video in terms of at the corner club with that still, I think you just have to use process of elimination with time. I don't believe that he would have been asleep, but I do see that if he didn't want to answer the phone because he wasn't going to deal with something, and then Maddie starts calling, do I think that, well, now isn't important what they were saying? Well, Maddie, what did you say to Adam and what have you? I think that they have the answers to that. There's people out there that are saying that the family doesn't support Jack D anymore. I don't know any of that. So Maddie's World says, is there any new bodies found on police site? 12/26/22 rumor. Read it in a chat today. Not sure. Anne says, how do these things get solved? So many viable scenarios. Lana, if you had their evidence, you'd solve it in a business week. I think when you have a lot of people, though, involved, that's why I always say, I think it's like anything in life, though. The more people that you have involved in something, it doesn't make it necessarily better. I think sometimes it makes it harder. So when you say that you have 46, federal agents on something, plus your Idaho State Police, then your local law enforcement, that's a lot of people. I can't answer as to why you would need that many people, but think about a basketball court. There's 5 people that are on that floor at each time competing, not 15 versus 15. I just think it gets too crowded. And I think things then can fall through the cracks if they're not properly passed along. I do think it's, if a lot of people are talking, which could be the case, it's interesting to me that we're not to that point that an arrest has been made. If a lot of people are talking and a lot of people are cooperating, if anybody has lawyered up, you guys, I don't think that's a wrong thing. I think that you should lawyer up. I think that you just have to cooperate through your lawyer. So if you're lawyering up, don't look at that as a bad thing. Look at it as a thing as I'm not getting blamed for something that I didn't do. Like, here, I want to get my lawyer and I will tell my lawyer everything. I want to clear, my name, and I want to help them find who did this because I feel like people are looking at me, crooked. Let's see here. Technology is so much more sophisticated now than it was 20 years ago. The ability to hide communications amongst friends is far more sophisticated, hence making it more difficult to find a suspect. I think for the close proximity of these homes, so if you're going to ping, cell phones and stuff like that. I think it's going to be more than you're going to need to ping cell phones and hitting towers because of this close proximity of everything. If you're hitting off of the same towers, in terms of the technology, I mean, these people have to be willing to turn over their devices, if they had smart watches, hasn't really been talked about law enforcement by, at least law enforcement saying it, that do they have the phones of everybody? Have they come out and said that? And people can assume, but no, that has not been talked about. Did the killer take all their cell phones? I don't know who released anything as far as that still. I was told it was a YouTuber by the name of Evil Exists, I believe. When law enforcement said Adam was cooperating, that spoke volumes to me. Yeah. I would love to know the question, where that came from, how that was asked, and why the law enforcement would even be talking about it, kind of, because you couldn't get any type of questions in about the roommates. So, welcome to the fam home team. Yeah. And I'm trying to get. Yeah, lawyer up. Absolutely. And that doesn't mean that that's just the right thing to do. Kelly says, why do you think he didn't join them when they left? She supposedly was calling him and begging him to come over. I don't know. I would think he would make sure to tell the cops he was awake. I don't know what she was begging him to do. I don't know if that's been said by anybody. That's purely speculation at this point. Honestly, what law enforcement has told us, if you really, really think about it, guys, it's been very, very minimal. They've told us, I did this the other day. They told us what time the 911 call was at. They told us that there was multiple people in that home. They told us that they believed the homicide happened between 3 and 4. They told us that everybody was stabbed. They thought that people were sleeping and a couple had defense wounds. They told us that they did not believe that the person in the hoodie at the food truck was involved. They did not believe that the roommates were involved. They were looking for a white Elantra. What other facts have they stated? They said the dog was unharmed and that the dog did not present to have any blood or fibers or anything like that, and released the dog. They said that the gentleman that killed himself, or I'm sorry, he didn't kill himself, but he was shot by law enforcement that was holding hostage the roommates over on in Pullman. It was no relation. Mama Fee says, Lan, I have a question. What do you think, in your opinion, who is in the photo, or have you seen it yet? Are you talking about the photo for from the corner club? I think without a doubt, Kaylee and Maddie are talking to Jack Decor. Marshall Dove says, I'm walking my dog and solving crime. There you go. And also, I want to talk about this a little bit. You guys, Kaylee was not moving as a permanent move to Austin. Her, by her own admission, with a post that she posted, she was looking for a roommate or someone to live with February to June. February to June. Now, the question I have is why Kaylee would be taking the dog, only because a dog it's a lot of responsibility when you're going somewhere where you don't know anybody to house sit or, dog sit, somebody to help you with the dog. If you're going to be working long hours, I mean, if you're not working at home, things like that, then your dog's alone a lot. So I'm curious as to, I get it that people don't want to like leave their dog behind, but it was a dog that she was sharing. I just think that it would be hard. It'd be hard to care for the dog. So the trip to Texas wasn't in fact either like a co-op opportunity, an internship, and I think maybe the wording kind of got possibly mixed up with if Kaylee was done with school, let's say in December, in terms of if she was graduating or not. You could be done taking your classes and then you just have like this co-op or this internship that you're going to get these credits. Again, that could be, I think that's all subject to the university being able to explain that if it in fact matters, which I would think it does, it does. I think that when you don't get to interview somebody and you're using little clippets and snippets like mainstream media will do. So if you're asked a certain question, like, yeah, was Kaylee moving out? Yeah, Kaylee was moving, and she was moving to Austin for, an internship. Okay, that's her family answering. That's what she told her family. Okay. But then if you would have followed up with, well, did she pack up her room? Well, no, because she's still going to have that, she had that lease until, August, let's say. So I just think that when you're just getting snippets of something, when mainstream media is doing it and you can kind of tell, and I think her sister talked about that. So what we tell our parents when we're in college, depending on what type of relationship you have with your parents, is going to be depending on what you're going to tell them. Other than the obvious, who the killer was, what are your top 3 questions that you personally have? Number 1 is, something screams problematic when the family is reaching out and doing the things that they're doing. Hiring a private investigator, needing the need to feel that. Did Jack D tell them some stuff that just, hey, this was going on, this was going on, and it's all related, let's say, around the Greek life, and that they're going to brush this under the rug, the truth. So I think that my number 1 is, I don't think that Kaylee's family goes out, talks to the media, hires a public or a private investigator or a third party if there isn't some serious problems. And so like that'd be number 1 for me. Number 2, I would love to know what the family has been given. Because based off of what I would be given if I was a family member, I'd be able to, so I have all this stuff, I'd be able to look at it. And then we've heard the family talk about that they were able to get into phone records and stuff like that and other type of social medias because they, shared passwords or new passwords and things like that. When you want to go through all these phones and look at all these pictures, I think that you would need the family as well as friends to identify people who, think about this. I'm a law enforcement agent. I have someone's phone and I just look at someone's social media. I don't know who any of these people are. Okay, this is, I need somebody to sit down and go through with me okay, what seems off? Does this person normally hang out with this person? Is this like, for you to go through someone's phone, none of that's going to mean anything to you. You would need, and I think that we heard that from Officer or Chief Fry when he's saying we're getting context out of a picture that we have, out of like this whole picture that we have. We're starting to get context. And I think that's what he means. I think that they have all of this stuff. Well, all of this stuff means nothing until you can start putting it together. So nobody has released the 911 call. That's never going to be released until trial. Unless somehow that gets leaked. That's not ever going to see the light of day until that's in trial. Hello, Lana, Patty, love you, girl. Who is this? Oh, thank you, love. Sometimes it takes people a few minutes to get the name. I guess that's a chat thing there. Puzzle of missing piece. I think they have a lot of circumstantial stuff. I still agree with Scott Roeder when he said that you have so many samples, and if you don't have DNA of that's in the system, it'll be interesting. And that's when he was saying that he doesn't think that DNA is going to solve this case. He thinks it's going to be somebody that's coming forward and being able to give them something. Law enforcement did say they are starting to be able to piece it together. Yep. Because there's a lot to go through. You got you walk into something and you have 4 dead young students, not to gunshot, but to a knife. And that's very usually an intimate, personal killing. Thank you, Not Gone. I appreciate that. Many months of lab testing. I think, just it's a lot of man hours. So if you say that you have people on, and if they're doing stuff like that for the case, but a lot of hours. 6 weeks. Where is a toxicology report? That could be something that we don't see until trial as well. The coroner who did not perform the autopsy said that when she has a report, she will release it. I've made a couple different calls. I haven't heard anything back. But I do have the September 2nd, the return visit body cam. And how I'm actually going to do that is I'm going to actually be releasing that in a separate live that happens just a little bit later. That way I can have it on subscriber mode. And that way it could be something, because I've done that with the other ones. I want to keep that uniform with that. And I will be releasing that this evening. And I feel really bad. You guys don't ever feel bad about what you can give and what you can't give. Honestly, just supporting, even just being present, being there is supporting the channel. So don't ever feel like you have to do that. That's, that's not there's other ways to contribute. You'd be amazed. Thank you there, Wes. I have a question for you guys. Let's say that you didn't know that corner club existed, that footage. You knew they probably had it, but you didn't have it as a parent. How would that make you feel after you saw it? How would that make you guys feel? So that would be, as a parent, say you wake up this morning and boom, you turn on whatever, and there you see your daughter, 2 daughters, as according to the Gonsalves' family, that those are both their daughters. And boom, there you see a hoodie guy, Jack D, Maddie, Kaylee, all in the same still. Just a couple hours before the homicides. Thank you, Jamie. I have not seen any of the ambulances at the house. I asked that a couple lives back, if anybody saw bigger material coming out of that house, if they saw any of the bodies. So I have not. Again, want to give a shout out to my mods. I love you guys. Thank you guys for being here. Maple Beeve, saying prayers for speedy little recovery for little guy. Love them. All the mods, beautiful families, beautiful hearts. Love you guys. Cardinal, thank you for the new membership. Let's keep this channel coming in hot. Well, again, I'm not going to shy away from the fact that bedroom 3 was the most accessible for the killer or killers. If you're coming in that sliding door, also, I'll reveal some. Actually, here we go. I want to show you guys this. Jeremiah, thank you. The ties. Okay, the zip ties. I got the footage. I'm going to show you guys. It is a game that they play. Okay, so back in college, when I was in college, I did it. I came up with a Valentine's Day party that was called Cuff Me, F Me. And what you did is the guys had to bring a case of beer and the girls brought $20. And then I had all these handcuffs. Guys' names would be put into a pile. Girls' names would be put into a pile. And you pick out of the pile, read off the girl's name, you pick out of the guy's pile, and then boom, you are then handcuffed together. Just one handcuff here and then to the other person. And what it was a case race. And I think back then we did with 18 beers, to be honest. And you could be playing games while you're there. The music is on, and it's a party. And so $20 goes into the pot, and the two people that finish the fastest without uncuffing, they win the money. So that's how the game worked back in 2000. And I did it on Valentine's Day because of all the single people out there. Like, that's why, Valentine's Day, come on now. Like, it's not for lovers, So now the zip ties. I'm going to show you guys a picture. They had like a similar game that they played, and you would get zip tied, and it would be 3 people basically. And what they did is they took a boxed wine and they took the pouch out of the boxed wine, and you had the boxed wine between 3 people that you would be drinking. So again, I had to try to get to the bottom of things. And so the zip ties, they're not expensive Gucci new wear. It is actually a game that they would play, and there'd be teams, and you would get zip tied. Again, you have to go to the bathroom with this person. When they go to the bathroom, you cannot uncuff for any reason. If they're puking, you're right there. Or if you do cut your zip tie, or if you uncuff and you want to be out because, oh, hell no, I'm not whatever. Then you're out, and you have referees. So just so you guys know how that works. How's your liver doing? It's fabulous. This was like 20 years ago. I'd run it off. The athlete it'd be. But just so you guys know, I wanted to tell you about that's what the zip ties are. And this isn't about, this is a college campus. These are college kids. They're going to be drinking. They're going to be having fun. That to me is not what looking at the body cam is for. It's to see if you notice anybody out of place. It's to see if it could jog somebody's memory to say, "Oh my gosh, remember that night? Da, 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 this is what happened." Because there's just so many things that people would be thinking about. So anybody that's bashing them for having a good time, that's just silly. I wanted to answer that one question that I saw posted. Where was it? Right up above that. Yeah, and the worst is when you got so you'd always want the bigger football players on your team because they could just down, you could bong the beers to get rid of them. You could play flip cup to get rid of them. You could play beer pong to get rid of them. But the football players, I won the first time we did it. I had Doug on my team, and I was like, he was our starting tight end. And I was like, dude, you're just going to pound for days, and we're going to be done. So I helped him bong a couple beers, and he's like a pro. When I heard my name, get called after Doug, I was like, curtains, this game's over. We just won, and everybody knew we would win. But what you can do is you could try to get people to take shots and stuff like that, which isn't part of the game, but you want to try to, you're playing for $500 back in college. That's a lot of money. So, but yeah, I was looking for, there was a really good question up there that I wanted to answer. I saw it and I was, 18 beers shared, that's nothing. I know, but it's a race. It's the first one done. So there's it's not about oh, you finished. You got to be the first one. Our case is that she believes that Corner Club leaked those to put some pressure on. Could be. This is the question I wanted. What do you think of Jack D's behavior thus far? Like I said, everybody handles things differently. We don't know how he's truly behaving. It's only I wouldn't be running out and talking to the media. I'd be talking to my lawyer and cooperating through my attorney. He was on stage with the family. I guess since then, there's questions on if the family's supporting him or not. I don't know that. But to say how their behavior before and after, I didn't know him. I don't know so I think the people that would be able to answer that are going to be his closest friends. And I think that's important to ask those that are close to him, just like other people. Were they acting strange beforehand? Nicole thinks that there's a gag order in place. How do you think there's a gag order in place? I couldn't tell if actually the dad was looking at Jack or if he was actually just looking off. He didn't want to go down the steps that way. He did not want to go down the left steps. He refused to go down the left steps. And you want to know why? Because people at the university were over there. So I don't know if that face or whatever was because he looked because he doesn't turn all the way like this. He turns just like this. And he didn't want to go anywhere near those left steps going down that way. That's where the university personnel was. That's what I saw in that. I don't necessarily think that he didn't want to be by Jack. I believe law enforcement knows who did this, but they don't want to risk prosecution. Absolutely, they could, they can have that. Remember at the beginning, they immediately came out right away talking about this was a target attack and that they believed that the university and people in that surrounding area was safe. So then they kind of backpedaled on that. Not necessarily that they didn't still believe what they said. It was they have no choice but to backpedal on that. There's no arrest made yet, and you can't go around telling people that they're safe. So Right, Lana. Thanks, Lana. Didn't notice that there were the steps. Yeah, so that's kind of what I think about that. He didn't want to go. He wasn't going to walk down the left way unless he had to. Um, it's not letting people. It's not letting become a member on phone. Can you um post your? Yeah, I post it. It's not letting you become. Let me see. Hey, Maple Beef, can you drop the link for the phone? Um. There you go. I think she just linked that one. So hit on hers. I don't know if that helps, but is that the phone one? Well, I have a question then. If most things have a gag order, and this is a gag order, because I don't think that that's the case at all, but I think the family's speaking. So are they gagged? Who would be gagged? Um, I don't believe that there's a gag order in place. I believe that. So I went to go check on the Greek, basically the Idaho website, to look up the different events that were happening in the Greek system. And I noticed that you're not going to be able to find anything. It's basically been wiped up until 2021. So I thought that was interesting. But here I want to show you these pictures really quick. Thank you there, Pam. All right, what you guys are looking at right now is the zip tie. This is the connect. So that's how that works. And that's like the between themselves. So there you go. Again, it's just a drinking game. Instead of having handcuffs, this is how you make sure that your people don't break apart. But again, you know, a hunter had those on in the body cam footage, and I really wanted to make sure people understood that it was not some crazy wild sex game. And it definitely, was not him tying up people in the house and, anything like that. They use these for a college drinking game. And like I said, we used handcuffs to do stuff that we did when you had a handcuff. So making sure that that is known, and nobody's into, duress or anything like that. This is a drinking game. So thank you there, Max 2002 super sticker. Thank you. Good to see you around here. So, all right, again, this was a nice little live chat feature for the members. I do appreciate you guys giving you guys a chance to drop some of your questions. If I had the answers, I could give them to you. Got some information out there as far as the zip ties go. And then here at the primetime hour, I'm going to be releasing, again, this is September 2nd. So this is after midnight from September 1st. The police had to go back to 1122 King Road. And body cam footage that's never been seen, hoping that you know, if there's anything on it that could help. Jeremiah Johnson, we appreciate you. Christina Starks, thank you so much. Welcome. Again, hit the thumbs up. Yep. Or hit the thumbs down. Make yourself known. If you liked it, you liked it. If you didn't, you didn't. Yes, more body cam footage. Again, they had to go back. The police had to go back on that September 1st. They were there at 8:30. That's when the 3 officers were there with the ride along. Now they had to go back, which actually was after midnight. So it's September 2nd, technically. And it's around 12:30, 12:36. So that'll get released here. Again, it will be an open live chat feature at the 9 p.m. hour for the West Coast. For those on the West Coast, that'll be their, 6 p.m. time slot. So again, thank you guys so much. If you just joined us, make sure you check out the beginning of the video. I think it's a good watch, and it kind of just puts into perspective, when you're dealing with, are we dealing with somebody so sophisticated and this was so planned out? What are we dealing with? So again, thank you guys for being here. Mods, love you. And I'm glad that all the members had a chance to pop in here to get to ask some questions and us to have a little bit of a chat. All right, guys, until next time, again, make yourself known, hit the thumbs up, hit the thumbs down, and we'll see you back here at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard, so 2.5 hours. All right, good night. See you then.